Hi, this is Melissa Maley, and today I'm going to show you how to make my homemade Italian sauce. First, you take some extra virgin olive oil and you put it in your pan. It's probably just enough to cover the bottom, so depending on how big your pot is. And then I use sliced pork. You can find it in your refrigerated section. And it's just a few slices of that. And I'm just going to let that simmer down for maybe 15 minutes or so on a low heat. So while the pork was frying in the pan in the oil, you only want to leave it in there just for a little bit so it looks like this. Just enough to flavor the oil a little bit. Then, while that was cooking for just a few minutes or so, I crushed up some fresh cloves of garlic. So about that much, which actually turned out to be, through the crusher, about 8 cloves. And I'll just put that in there, and the oil's still kind of hot, so if it's not cooking, then you just keep it on low. Otherwise, just let it kind of sit in the oil for a minute, just so it doesn't get too brown on you. And I'll show you what it's going to look like before we add the sauce. Now that the oil is ready with the garlic and the pork, next is going to be 3 cans of crushed tomatoes. I like to use Hunt's, you can use whatever you'd like. And all I do is dump the 3 cans out. Okay, and then we're going to stir that up, keep it on low heat, and we're just going to let it simmer while I chop some fresh basil and some fresh parsley. So after you dump in the 3 cans of crushed tomato, I also added in 1 can of the sauce too. And then immediately after that, we're going to do the spices. So I went and chopped this up ahead of time. I did, if you have a Cuisinart, it works the best. That's what I did. I just grabbed like 2 handfuls of, big handfuls of basil and did it in the Cuisinart. So you just put that in there. And then I did a big handful of parsley, and I cut all the stems off, put them in the Cuisinart. And next, I'm going to grab my, okay, it's under here, my measuring spoon, and I'm going to measure out about a tablespoon of garlic powder and about, let's see here, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, and a little bit of, probably about a teaspoon, I'd say, yeah, tablespoon of Italian seasoning. And then I like to add sugar. So I get about 2 to 3 teaspoons of sugar. Okay, and then we stir this up. And what you see over here is something making stuffed peppers, which will be with this sauce here for a next recipe I'm going to be posting. Okay, and then a can of paste. This one happens to have the basil, garlic, and oregano in it, but you don't need to do that. The sauce cans didn't have any of that. And then, after that, I like to take some wine, red cooking wine. This one is a Cabernet. You can use whatever you like. in a red wine. And I usually put in just about as much as what the can is. Just about that much. That's it. And then stir it up. We're gonna put a top on it, keep it on low, and we cook it all day. I cook my sauce, I make this in the morning, and I will cook it all day because the longer it sits and cooks, it will, the sauce will just absorb the meat that's in there, and it'll just have so much flavor. So, and the spices. So we'll just let this cook for as long as you can with a top. And then shortly I will show you again, if you want to take a look at that right now. We're just going to let it cook, and then shortly I'll be showing you how to stuff peppers. And please like and subscribe. I'm going to be showing you many future recipes with this Italian sauce on how to do many different Italian foods.